Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again. I'm here today with my 24-hour review of this phone right here, the Honor 8X Max. Now I'm going to try to do this video as quickly as possible. The reason being, guys, I actually don't have my typical mic setup as I normally do for videos. So I'm just going to go down the quick list here of my first experiences with this phone here. But apologies for the audio ahead of time if it does sound a little bit bad at times. But anyways, let's get right into it. So this phone, as you guys know, this phone is the biggest phone that I've ever tested here on Frankie Tech. This is a 7.12 inch screen, so we are in tablet territory here. And while I go down the laundry list here, comparison, as I've gone through it, I'm also going to be comparing, so this is going to be kind of like a, consider this a review and comparison also of this phone right here, the Mi Max 3. And I know that that's a comparison that all of you guys are interested in seeing. So you can see them right there, just size comparison of these two phones. Look how they fit right next to each other. And as I go through kind of each section, I'll kind of quickly pause and compare versus the Mi Max 3 as well. So let's leave this right here and let's get right into it. But quickly before we go into that, let me give you my 24, soon to be 36 hours of experience with this phone. And it's been a pretty solid phone, I would say. It's been a solid phone, but you'll have to wait for my verdict at the end. How do I feel it compares versus the Mi Max 3 right here? And you see this kind of shimmery color here. It's pretty nice. I will say though, guys, the reason why this video is a bit delayed is because for the first day of usage, I actually could not, for the life of me, get the Play Store working on this phone. And I tried so many different things. I was even going to go back to the store and tell them like it was not working. I almost was about to return this phone because I was just like, without Play Store apps or anything, I can't really do my testing on it. Luckily though, I found this GMS installer right here. So any of you guys looking to buy this phone, if you go to the Honor, the app gallery, the Huawei app gallery, the downloaded Play Store there just automatically shuts down. And I don't know what is up with that, but it just kept shutting down. As you can see here now, though, it's working no problem, but it took a day to do that. So just wanted a quick FYI there. So really, I've only been using this phone for around 24 hours, but so far, I'd say the experience has been really solid. Now that have everything working on it, it's been great. And let's jump right into the first section here, talking about design. So looking at the design of this phone, you can clearly see this is a large tablet, almost phablet style phone here. And you can kind of see where they kind of got the cues, similar to some of the other Honor phones that I've tested in the past. The most importantly, the one to compare to would be the Honor Note 10. So let me pull that phone out and just quickly compare how this one looks compared to that one. And so here it is. Here's the Honor Note 10. You guys can kind of see how it stacks up against these phones are so big. I had to push the tripod up a bit further to get some more distance from these phones. Oh, wow, look at that. And you can see there compared to the Honor Note 10, the bezels are very similar, but the main difference, you can see it up there, is at the top, where the Honor Note 10 has this kind of pretty small top bezel right around the top. This one is utilizing this very different droplet. I call it droplet design there. But what does that mean? That just means it can fit a bigger screen inside the phone. And you can see as I stack these two next to each other, they're almost exactly the same size. Almost exactly. Maybe the Honor 8X Max is a little bit wider, but it is negligible right there. And then stacking up against the Mi Max 3, look at these phones, man. These are beasts. They are just beast phones. And you see they're all very similarly sized right there. So we're going to put the Honor Note 10 out of the way for a second. But as I said, it does have a similar kind of glass back to that. And you see it there in the angle. There you see it. It's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, obviously. But you see the line I was talking about in my earlier video. There it is. I think it caught the light perfectly there. There's this line, and I wish I could kind of get the shimmer of how this looks, but you can kind of see it there. There's a bit of a pattern to that area. And so what that means is that this phone is just is a bit more unique, I think, in terms of design than the Honor Note 10, which is just a full glass back. But I honestly don't mind it. I think it is, like I said, it is a fingerprint magnet. But in terms of design, I do kind of appreciate that it does have that glass back versus the Mi Max 3, which is not a bad phone. In fact, I do like the unibody design of the Mi Max 3. But this one looks just a little bit more premium because it's got that glass sandwich design right there. And you can see here, I kind of showed this in the previous video, all the different sections. There's nothing here at the top. You have your volume rocker, power button, and you have your micro USB. Now that's a major deal breaker here for some of you guys because the Mi Max 3, as you can see here, has that USB-C. And I don't know why they didn't include it on this phone. It's a real pity, but on the plus side, at least they have that 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And here on the back, we have the two cameras, dual 16 megapixel, 2 megapixel camera there. And we have your fingerprint sensor. And now just quickly, because I didn't do this earlier, I'm going to do just a quick unboxing here to show you guys. I know I already unboxed the phone, so I get the point. It's not an unboxing. I already unboxed it. But just looking through here, there's some literature here, some info. And one thing I wanted to show you guys, which was kind of cool, I thought, was look at that. There is the SIM ejector tool, and it's kind of this little diamond tool. It's pretty unique, I'd say, versus some of the other SIM ejector tools I've tested. And then look, very simple unboxing. Not much to it, man. It's just the cable, and there is the cable and the charger. But one thing I will look at here, it is Huawei Quick Charge up to 9 volts. So it will charge this pretty quick, but not to the level of the charger in the Honor Note 10. That is definitely going to be a bit faster charger. And the Mi Max 3 is also 12 volt. So this one is the slowest of the three. So that's pretty much about design right there of this phone. Alright, so now getting quickly into display. Let's kind of do a quick overview here. 7.12 inches. This is an 83.4% screen-to-body ratio. So you see that that notch droplet there really does improve the screen-to-body ratio versus the Mi Max 3, which is 79.8. And you got an 18.7 by 9 aspect ratio right here, and it's a 1080 by 2244 pixels, so 300 ppi here. But the one major difference, and I'll show it to you right here, because the Honor Note 10 also has a very similar pixel screen, but there is a catch, and there's always a catch. This is an LCD panel, and so if you can see, look at that photo icon right there. Compare now to the photo icon right there. Now, it may not be visible to your eye there, but this is a Pentile AMOLED display, and this is an RGB LCD. So that means the Honor 8X Max is actually it looks sharper to me, more pixel dense than the Honor Note 10. And that's been my only kind of issue with the Honor Note 10, is that it is probably by far the kind of the most kind of the least sharp of any of the phones I have. And it is not a deal breaker because it's such a big display, but something to be aware of nonetheless. And looking at the Mi Max 3 also, it's going to be very similar to that. Now, talking about the panels on these two, which one do I think is better? I'm going to go straight up and tell you guys, the first time I saw this panel, I was really impressed. But as I started using a little more, I noticed there was some strange, see if I can see it here. See here, there's this kind of slight light bleed going on here at the top, right around the droplet notch. And I also noticed on some kind of grayscale, there you go. So I don't know if you guys notice it. It's probably not very obvious on this one, but there's a little bit of kind of banding going on. You can kind of see it there. There's a little bit of banding going on. So I honestly feel that it is not as good a display as the one on the Mi Max 3. That's just my opinion. The Mi Max 3 display, like I said, is a solid display, and it doesn't have the punchiest colors compared to, let's say, the Honor Note 10 right here, but I think it's just more uniform a display than the one on the Honor 8X Max. So not a terrible display, but definitely there's something going on, like I said, right here at the top, there's some light bleed issue, and I don't like it. It's it's kind of annoying, and now that I've noticed it, I can't unnotice it. So, Honor, if there's some quality control issues there on this panel, you're going to see it right here at the top. You see it there. It's pretty obvious that there is some sort of light bleed going on right there. Just something I needed to kind of point out because, you know, I tried these phones out really early on, and I just want you guys to be aware of what could be the potential issues here. But yeah, if I had to pick the best display between these two, I'd go with the Mi Max 3 over the Honor 8X Max, despite the notch and the kind of the more screen-to-body ratio on this phone. Now, a few last quick things in the display category here. Just want to go and take a quick shot, a quick view here of what video looks like. You guys have seen the Mi Max 3 a few times already, so I'm just going to go in to the random video here. Oh, one thing I will point out, dual speakers, 100%. Dual speakers on this phone, and I'll be testing them in a little second. But let's kind of lower the volume real quick just so you see how it compares. And we're zooming in there. That is the maximum size there of viewing on this phone. Now, it's almost exactly the same size as the Mi Max 3. So the bigger display in this case is not really doing much to increase the viewing area. It really is not that much of a difference, as you can see right there. And the last question you guys had related to display, you know what it is. It's DRM info right here. And wondering what is the case here on the Honor 8X Max. Well, see on the Mi Max 3, it's L3. Wow, wow, it's also L3 on the 8X Max. And that's too bad because, you know, for such big phones to not have that, that L1, which you see here on the Honor Note 10, it is the only phone of this size of the three that has that L1 security level, which means I can watch full HD, Netflix, and all this other great content on this phone right here. This even does HDR, so this phone is just going to be a step above these other two. You can tell why they're budget phones because they are running the L3 security level for wideband CDM, which is a pity. It really is a pity, but so there you go. That's your answer. If any of you guys wanted the L1 for sure on an Honor phone, you're going to have to step it up and get the Honor Note 10. Now let's get into performance real quick. And this is where these two phones probably stack up the most similarly. The performance on the the 8X Max here, always a handful saying that name. The Honor 8X Max is the Snapdragon 636. So that's basically the same performance, same Snapdragon on the Mi Max 3. And these could not be any more similar. This is the 4GB version, 4GB, 6GB of ROM, storage version right there. And what has the experience been so far using this phone? Well, I gotta say, it's been pretty decent, but I can already feel, you know, that it is not the same speed as that was our that was our giveaway winner right there. Asking about when he's gonna get his phone. Febe, it's coming soon, bro. Don't worry about it. It's coming soon. But you can see here, just kind of going in and out of apps. It takes a little longer than I'm kind of more comfortable with now that I'm using Pocophone and all that stuff. But hey, you know what? It's a decent performer. And how does it compare in terms of day-to-day to the Mi Max 3? Very similarly, I would say. If you guys want to see a speed test, though, between these phones, let me know. Or any kind of other test, post it in the comments there what kind of videos you want to see. But to be kind of very clear about how even these phones are, we're going to go right here to Geekbench. And that says it all right there, guys. Look at that. 1324, 1335, and a 4900 versus 4800 for single and multi-core on Geekbench 4. These phones couldn't be any more similar. They're both running Android 8.1, and they essentially are running the same chip here. So in terms of performance, I think if you're used to kind of the gaming and all the stuff, the experiences on the Mi Max 3, then knowing you'll have a very similar experience performance-wise on this phone right here. And now getting into the audio test, and I brought in the Honor Note 10, and you might as well just jump in here for this audio test as well. And we're going to do a battle of the dual speaker beast phones right here. We got the 8X Max, the Mi Max 3, and the Honor Note 10. So I'm just going to start playing a little bit of that classic royalty-free EDM. Let's play it up, 75% here. And as I confirmed, there are dual speakers on this. So let's see how balanced they are. That's pretty good. That is pretty good sound coming out. Feel it there. So that's pretty solid. And I'd say better than the Mi Max 3 already, just in terms of balance. Well, let's go now to the Mi Max 3 to 75%. Back to the 8X Max. Mi Max 3. Now let's go to the Honor Note 10. Oh, wow. Honor Note 10. Now that is a loud second speaker right there. Let's go back to the 8X Max. 100%. Mi Max 3, 100%. And Honor Note 10, 100%. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do it, Honor Note 10. Show these budget phablets how we do it. Oh wow. Back on the Mi Max 3. That's max volume, guys. And finally on the 8X Max. And that is it, guys. And what is my final analysis there? My final take on the audio test? Well, it seems to me that we clearly know who the winner is here, and that was the Honor Note 10. It just had a very full, really balanced sound on both sides here of this, of the speakers here. But who was the second place? Who was the second place here in the audio test? I'm sorry, Mi Max 3 lovers, but I'm going to have to give it to the 8X Max. I really think that the 8X Max actually, it takes a lot of advantage of what Honor and what Huawei has done here on the Honor Note 10 to deliver a sound that is louder, kind of more full, and the dual speakers are just more balanced. The Mi Max 3 has really good sound output from the bottom here, but the top speaker just can't keep up with the other two. And so I would have to rate the Honor 8X Max as the second best speaker of these two. The Honor Note 10 is the winner, definitely, but between these two right here, I'm going to have to give it to the 8X Max. So it definitely wins that category. But the Mi Max 3 is not a terrible dual speaker phone. It is not bad at all. It's just not, the speaker quality is just not to the level of the ones on Honor phones, at least for speaker quality. Now we're talking about microphone quality. That's a whole different story. And as you know about audio, the speaker or microphone quality, the issues I've had on Honor phones have continued. And we're just going to, let's segue down to the camera section here, because I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And so last but not least for this initial comparison review here, let's go into camera here. And just what I was mentioning here, talking about the audio experience on the 8X here. It's been okay. Well, not just the audio experience, but the video experience as well. As you guys know, the Mi Max 3, I've exhaustively taken photos of it. But I did some shots yesterday of these two phones. I'm going to kind of just show you guys just by hand here what they looked like. So this was shot on the Mi Max 3, kind of evening time in Hong Kong right there. That was that shot. How did the 8X Max do? And this was using AI camera. So I'm going to, you can see actually you can turn off AI camera. So we're going to turn it off here, show you what it looked like here without it. Now, before you guys get surprised, because I will say this shot actually looks better than the Mi Max 3 shot. This was the nicest shot that this phone took. This was the nicest one. And if I go through the other shots, you can see here how they did. There is the 8X Max, and there's the Mi Max 3. Now, I personally like the one on the Mi Max 3 better there. And this is where things just got really bad for the 8X Max. I don't know what was going on, but it could just not, to save its life, it could not do a decent shot out here. It was just I don't know what was going on with it. And the Mi Max 3, even though it's kind of a dark setting, as you can see here, look at that. Look at that photo and compare it to, let's see here. Yeah, there you go. That kind of that says it all right there. This photo might be brighter, but this photo is better. It's just much better. And you can tell there, this is where the prowess of the Mi Max 3 and its camera come to pass here, because that shot is very clearly just not good. It's not a good shot. And you zoom in there, it's not a good shot. It's a 16 megapixel, dual 16 2 megapixel, and this is dual 12 and 5 megapixel. But the camera experience on this is not great. And let me show you one last video here. All right, let's try this one more time here. Let's see if I can get them both at the same time. This is front-facing video on the Honor 8X and the Mi Max 3. Lowering the volume on this one, now volume on the Mi Max 3. Nighttime shots, man, always a challenge for these budget phones. Not looking good. I think the Mi Max 3 looks a little sharper, but the 8X looks a little bit brighter. And so that's it, guys. I mean, I think overall the camera winner here, and the best kind of overall camera still is the one on the Mi Max 3. I think it's just still an overall better camera. I'll have to do a full camera comparison, but honestly, this phone's camera is reminding me a lot of the Honor Plays camera, and I didn't like that camera very much, so I'm pretty sure I know where I'm going to fall on this camera, and that means I'm probably not going to like it that much either. But stay tuned for that, guys. So that's the end of this video. As usual, these videos, ranty ones, kind of go longer, but definitely hit me up in the comments section there. Which phone do you like better here? Which one is the one that you like? And, you know, just kind of overall verdict here, I would say, which one do I still like better? I do think the 8X Max brings a lot of good things to the table. It was definitely hard to set up. It was a challenge, but the display, it's a decent display. But even with the notch, though, like I said, there are some light bleed issues at the top. Talking about the design, though, I do think it is a little step above the Mi Max 3 if you're into that kind of glass sandwich design. The performance is pretty much on par. They're no different there. The audio there, you clearly see the 8X Max does have a step above the Mi Max 3, although it's not a huge step above. It's a slight step above, but in camera, the story could be no different, because I feel even with a kind of brighter light, kind of brighter looks there, the camera on the 8X Max is just not as well-rounded as the one on the Mi Max 3. So if I had to give my final kind of at least within first 24 hours verdict between these two phones, I'm going with the Mi Max 3, guys. The Mi Max 3 is still and remains to this day the kind of best budget phablet. And talking about battery quickly, this is a 5,000 milliampere battery. I'm still going to do battery drain tests on these, so stay tuned for that. But this is the 5,500 on the Mi Max 3. And that battery life, performance, general good camera, decent audio quality, and just overall experience mean that I think this is still the better purchase overall between these two phones. Now, nothing against the 8X Max right here, and maybe my kind of opinion will change as I test them further. But I will say that if you had to pick one of these two up right now, you'd be better served going with the Mi Max 3. And honestly, this is a nice phone, but the whole hype of having this notch, this is the first time I'm going to say this, but this is true. I think the notch actually looks better in video than it does in person. Once you've seen this thing in person and you see kind of the light bleed issues going on around the edge of it, it's just not as nice. It looks kind of weird. It actually kind of looks kind of weird. And I'm not going to lie, I actually prefer the notches that are slightly bigger or no notch at all. If you're going to have a notch, have a bigger notch with more stuff in there, or have no notch at all, because this kind of small camera notch, it's just kind of weird. It's almost like it's so close to being closed off that it's not. It just looks weird. That's my take, though. What do you guys think? Definitely drop it in the comment section there. If you like this video, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech here, definitely subscribe to the channel and stay tuned, guys. I have a lot of great stuff coming with these phones and with the Honor 8X Max here in a little bit. I'll leave it at that, guys. And this is where I say, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Y'all have a good one.